a high build aerosol spray putty that's been under our noses this whole time. What is it? It's in today's video and it's coming up next. You will never know a surprise how look into my eyes. We are not the same. Alright, what's up everyone? Back at it again. It is DW Darkwing Dad bringing you another video with another product that's going to help you finish your 3D prints fast, effective, and efficient. So it was about a month ago I started testing all of these new Upol products that have recently been available to us at stores like AutoZone and O'Reilly's. And there's another great product they released, but it's in disguise. Before I go any further, I want to go ahead and thank Dragon Prince for actually letting me know about these Upol products. He messaged me, said, hey, did you know these were at AutoZone? I did not. So big shout out to Dragon Prince, and make sure you guys go ahead and check him out on Instagram. Has a lot of cool builds, a lot of cool information. I do appreciate the heads up on the product and the support. And this is just another video that came because you told me about these products. So Upol obviously has this whole new line. I've talked about it more in a couple of the recent videos, but they have another product out that might outperform all these in a certain sense. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about and demonstrate it for you right now. So this mystery product is by none other than Upol, and it is labeled their Expert Sandable Primer, but don't let the name distract you away from what it can actually do. As far as the instructions go, it's pretty much similar to the other filler primers and primers that I had tested in my last videos. Clean and degrease it, sand it with a certain grit of sandpaper. You want to shake the can for 2 minutes, 1 to 2 coats, 5-minute wait time in between the coats. This has a dry and sand time in 30 minutes. And they still want you to flip the can upside down and clean the nozzle because this is a solvent-based primer. It does have some heavy solvents in it, things like ketones and acetone. So definitely want to make sure you're wearing PPE, a respirator, eyewear, and have a well-ventilated area. Now, the first thing I wanted to do was go ahead and test this head-to-head with some of my other filler primers that I used. So I went ahead and tested Bondo filler primer here. We see the spray pattern, pretty consistent, decent size. Also trying out the Upol filler primer. This one a little bit more narrower, more concentrated, a little bit thicker. Now the Upol Expert Sandable Primer, the double coverage, it definitely lives up to its name here. You can see just how big that fan is. Good coverage. That's definitely going to help shave down some time and maybe some frustration on bigger pieces. Speaking of pieces, let me show you what we're working with here. Just using some old pieces in my Punisher War Machine suit, back of a hand piece on the glove. It's got some retraction issues and some deep defects, so that'll be nice to see how well it fills in. And then just the right side of the spine piece. Again, this has had some moisture in it, so it's got some bumps, and it's a good piece to test to see how well it sands down. Sanding these down, I went ahead and sanded them with 80 and 180 just to make sure they were pretty leveled down but then smoothed out. We don't want to leave the surface too rough to where it's kind of bleeding through the primer. But both pieces here sanded down, looking good. Go ahead and applying this. Now this stuff comes out, I guess you could say, a bit chunky. You know, if the wind catches it or something, it may come out a bit dry in a sense, kind of rough. On the hand piece here, I really didn't have any problems. It lays pretty good. If you can control that amount of coverage that it has, it lays really good, and it actually fills very impressive for a quote-unquote sandable primer. This really does lay and act on the piece very, very similar to spraying on the Bondo glazing putty and the acetone, and then basically taking Bondo filler primer, combining it together. It's actually a pretty amazing piece. Here I applied the coat on the spine piece, and you can already see how much it's already filling in. We're going to go ahead and sand this to actually see what's left over. So I did a sandpaper test with this as well. I wanted to see how well it did. 220 grit here worked out very well. It sanded it very easy. It didn't clump up the sandpaper, which is very important, and there was a few sanding gouges, but nothing too crazy. So seeing how well 220 was working, I'm going to go ahead and finish this piece off, and then we're going to move on to the hand piece and use 320. Now moving on to the backhand piece with the 320. This worked just as awesome. Sanded super easy. There was absolutely no clumping on the sandpaper. It didn't gouge it at all. No sanding marks, no nothing. So 320 works absolutely awesome. So early on, this primer is showing that if you do a good prep on it, a good initial sand, you can just go at it with 320 and it still knocks everything down. I wanted to go ahead and add some additional coats on this just to see how well we did. Here you can see on the hand, I mean, look how great this is filling in all those layer lines, doing an absolutely awesome job. There's a couple spots here on the end where I didn't sand it quite as well that you may need to get some putty just to get that completely smoothed down. But a majority of this hand piece you can see here from basically 2 rounds of sanding absolutely knocked down a ton of the layer lines, looking awesome. Here on this piece I mentioned you want to make sure it's not too windy. It's hard to tell in the video, but it looked a little bit gritty. So you want to make sure you have this in a area where the wind isn't blowing. So I definitely recommend spraying this stuff in a good area where you're nice and covered and you don't have to fight with the elements. Both of these pieces look absolutely awesome though. I wanted to test this and see just how well I could get this knocked down. So I specifically attacked those areas where some of those layer lines and some of those deeper defects were still noticeable. So I went at it with 320, and truth be told, here's a final shot of this handpiece. I mean, this is awesome. I sanded this with 320 and 400 and then just did a final coat of the sandable primer. I mean, these layer lines are almost completely gone. Obviously, there's a small piece right here and 1 or 2 small pieces here. I'm pretty confident if you went back at that and sanded those down, you'd actually completely be able to get rid of those layer lines without even having to use any putty. This is a really great product. Like I said, this is kind of like combining my Bondo putty acetone spraying technique with Bondo filler primer together, basically condensing it into a can. And you can see here, this piece is still a little bit wet. That's why there's a little bit of that discoloration. Even where we didn't sand in the middle, it filled it out really well. So this is definitely an awesome product. I had to show you guys. Definitely a product that is worth checking out firsthand. So go ahead and grab yourself a can. Now that I've showed you the basics of this product, let me give you my final thoughts. All right, guys. Well, there you have it. There is a product that I just absolutely had to show you. It was something that I kind of stumbled upon, and truth be told, this really is like a spray putty. Upol does have a similar product called High Build 5, which is literally a spray putty. Ironically, this sandable filler primer has about 90% of what the High Build 5 has in it. So it really acts and reacts the way that a spray putty would. If you just want something simpler, you want to grab something off the shelf in a can, Upol is High Build 5, which is their labeled spray putty, $25. This is $9.99. AutoZone has all kinds of online coupons and things where you can get a couple bottles of this, somewhere around $7-8 a can. The way that it works, I mean, the results you've seen, absolutely awesome. Again, provides pretty quick turnover time as far as being able to dry and sand, only 30 minutes. There's really not many cons to this product, other than the PPE, which you should be doing anyways. Sand super easy, and honestly the filling ability, it filled in absolutely awesome. Portability, usability, sandability, just overall really a great product. Wanted to share it with you guys. Hopefully you guys go out and get it. Of course, if you do, drop me a comment and let me know. If you do enjoy all things 3D printing, cosplay, DIY, Marvel, Funko Pops, all the stuff I'm doing on the channel, go ahead and click the subscribe button. I got a lot more of all of that right around the corner. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for taking your time out of your day and watching this video. If you liked the video, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you have questions on anything, go ahead and make sure to drop me a comment. On a side note, another thank you to all my subscribers and viewers. I just hit 10K. So we're going to be setting up that 10K live stream. I'm going to be doing some giveaways, some cool things, some information about my Patreon, about my membership, and some other goodies I have in the works to continue to grow this channel, to bring you guys awesome content like this, to help you guys in your builds, show you new products, test new products. Everything that I'm doing on this channel, but on a bigger scale, it's definitely coming to you, and it's coming to you from DW. Well, that's it for the Upol Sandable Primer. Upol thought they were tricky little devils, labeling this as a sandable primer, but you've seen, it does a lot more than that. Definitely an awesome product. Make sure you go out and pick it up at your local AutoZone. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you think about it. That's pretty much it, guys. I got a lot more videos I got to do. I've been behind the ball a little bit. I had a concert to go to. I got sick from being at the concert. So I'm a little bit behind on things, so I'm going to get caught up on the list of things I'm constantly working at so I can bring you guys more new videos. Give me a thumbs up. Drop me a comment, click that subscribe button, and until next time, DW out. Later.